what's going on, everyone? So we're going to be running power strips on our OVS 180-degree HD awning today. We're going to run them up all arms and then through the mounting plate. We're going to run our power harness through the back here. We're going to fish that through, which will then connect to our power adapter that we'll have here and run through the channel into the cab, which will plug into our Blue Eddy. Follow along. Here's a quick map of what I'll be using. So we're going to pass through the wires. It's going to be about 85 inches. You have the back and the front arms are 75 inches and 73 inches for these two arms that come out. And then if you decide to put LED strip on the back plate, 76 inches. That gives you a little bit of play room on each side. I'm going to need about 32.8 feet, so 393 inches of a light strip. It's about $35 on Amazon. And then the awning total arm length, 372, so we're well within that range. So we can have full strips on each arm and even the back plate here. Pass wires through. I have about 112 inches of harness to use. We have our heat shrink, solder connectors, light strip. Got our strippers. We got our wire harness, connectors for the light strips. This is going to feed the wire harness through, a little fish cable. We have our dimmable on-off switch, and then we also have our adapter. My goal is to run the LED strips along this arm, the second arm here, and the fourth arm in the back. The back and the front arms are both going to be 75 inches of LED strip. These two arms with the legs are going to be 73 inches. All right, we just cut all four of our strips. These two, they have the, I think it's 5.5 by 2.1 or something like that. The adapter's on there. I'm actually cut this one off. I'm going to connect this. That's going to go straight to the power adapter. It has the best fitting here to connect into it. And then these two, we're gonna have to put our little strip connectors on there. And then we can run the power harness and we can get everything connected. Got our light strip, got a negative, positive. We have our light strip connector here. We need to make sure that the negative goes to the negative for these little connectors here. So we'll pop that in, make sure it sits all the way back, just like so. And then press down on there to get those connectors to come through. And now what we can do is I can use this that came with the adapter. We'll plug these ends into here, and then we'll plug it into the power adapter, make sure that this light strip still works. Positive and negative go in. Now to test the light. Let's plug this in, see if we got this working. There we go. We're golden. Just trying to get this 3/16 heat shrink tubing on all the way up to the light if I can. Pretty tight on these connectors. I haven't had this much trouble since high school. I'm gonna use our little solder connectors. I'm gonna extend this piece a little bit here. Now to put that 3/16 sheathing on again, and we're about to be real. Some will you say, hey, why don't you use a bigger one? Well, I want it nice and tight. We got that on. All right, so to pull this back, this little plastic black cover comes off. And then what we'll do is we'll run the harness through the channels in this aluminum plate that goes all the way to the other side. Now, you have the channels open. Pass the wire through, and we'll just need to cut a hole in this little black piece on both sides. All right, so we got the line fished through, and now we just need to pop these covers back on both sides. This is how the wires look when the awning's all folded up. This is the front side, the driver's side. The back here, you can see how the wires are also set. Tent's deployed. With it deployed, you can see how both LED strips are set up. So this one is set up with the LED strip connector. This one I didn't need to remove that on. I just had to cut off the male end of the, I think it was like 5.5 to by 2.1 connector. So I just cut the tip of that off, and then I wired these both into the same solder connector here, and then the other end of that solder connector connected to the positive wire, and then there's another solder connector in here that connects to the negative wire for the harness. Going to the rear, we have the switch harness. So it comes up here. There are two solder connectors in here, one for positive, one for negative, that connect to another single wire that's about 4 inches long here, that connects to two other solder connectors. Those two solder connectors connect the negative and the positive wires from the LED strips here and the harness. So 3 negative wires go into one connector, 3 positive wires go into the other connector, and those feed down into single wires that then connect into this harness here for the switch. The switch will clip into the power adapter, which then goes into the car and into my Blue Yeti. One other item to note is to try and make this as weather tight as possible. This bag isn't fully sealed in the back, so weather can get in here, water can get in here. If you're using this thing in the rain, obviously water is going to get in here. You can see the water spots, so make this watertight so you don't have any electrical issues while you're using this thing. So this all just kind of tucks back up in here, and I can zip all this up with this in here. There we go, we have light. Best part, they can dim and they can be bright. But we're gonna go back down a little bit. Cut out on the bugs.